G'day everybody, Chris Jelly here with episode 2 of the Car Info Show. Last week I dispelled the myths surrounding New Zealand new versus Japanese imports. This week we're going to test the emissions of an old 1996 vehicle, compare it with the 2003 vehicle and compare that with the 2005 vehicle and see if they pass. Before I begin, I invite any of the critics out there with my videos and my theories to come on the show and openly debate this topic with me, provided you have the evidence to back up what you're saying. Now I'd like to introduce somebody I met last Saturday, Peter Ball. He's been in the motor industry for 30 years. Here's what he had to say.
What we found in the last 2 or 3 years, a lot of people are repairing older cars which shouldn't even be repaired, or through bad emissions, oil leaks and stuff like that. We have found we've been replacing a lot of motors because we failed them on warrants. Like 5 years ago, half of these cars wouldn't be on the road.
Really?
And now a lot of people are putting them back on.
Why is that? Because if they had a problem with an oil leak or a bad engine, they'd just go and scrap it and get another one?
Yep, a lot of people are putting it on the mortgage. People don't do that anymore because of the interest rates and everything else.
Right.
So, and you go back 4 years ago, it was easy to borrow money. It's not easy now, so people aren't doing that.
What about this car here? Would this car normally have been on the road?
You go back 5 years ago, they wouldn't have been on the road because of the high mileage. That's one of the biggest things.
Right.
And the poor emissions out of it.
Right. What's the mileage on this vehicle?
258.
258,000 Ks. Yeah. And that car looks like, with the tyres, good tyres on it, it's probably going to stay on the road for another
3 or 4 years if they keep it just topped up with oil and stuff, but...
Right. Yeah. That's just, this is wrong. Wrong. Look at this. That's what we want to be getting off our roads. I'm worried about those older vehicles, and with less fresh imports around, buying a new one is about to get a lot more expensive. Now over to everyone's favourite, Wayne Kerr. Thanks, Chris. People have been forced to keep their old cars on the road, and it's only going to get worse. This was pointed out by the MOT in their 2010 Fleet Statistical Report. This year's report shows that New Zealand's vehicle fleet is continuing to age. New Zealand's average age of vehicles on the road is high compared to international standards. In the year 2000, 23.8% of normal cars people drive was over the age of 15 years, but in 2010 this had increased to 33.2%. What's more, the average age of used imported vehicles, which make up almost half of the light fleet, has reached 14.4 years old. New Zealand new vehicles are on average older than imported Japanese vehicles on our roads and have never had a safety compliance inspection. The report goes on to say, vehicle replacement volumes have dropped significantly over the past 3 years. The rate of scrappage was very low in 2010, signalling that more people are holding on to their vehicles instead of replacing them with newer models. The effect of this can be seen in the levelling off of the light fleet size and increased proportion of older vehicles. Only these low scrappage levels have prevented the fleet size from dropping. So I guess we've got about the right amount of cars on the road at the moment. As a result of this trend, more vehicles will require replacement in the next 5 years. Where will these replacements come from when the new emissions rule reduces 85% of fresh imports? Again, the public is forced to keep older, higher polluting, more dangerous vehicles on the road. Now we cross live to our global roving reporter CJ and the results of the New Zealand Sanctified emissions test. So here we are and the results are in. The FB14 1996 Nissan Lucino, pass. The 2003 Subaru Impreza, pass. The 2005 Mazda Demio, pass. Now if all three of these cars pass the current government emission standard, an admission test, you must ask yourself, why on earth are we cutting out 85% of the better quality, lower kilometre, cleaner cars from Japan and forcing these old dungers to stay on the road? These are unsafe cars, some of them don't have catalytic converters, some of them are badly maintained, and they pollute. Why does the government want us to keep these cars on the road and take those off? As the sun sets on the beautiful Auckland city, one thing has become abundantly clear, and that is prices on your cars are about to go up. In this week's episode, we tested the emissions of 3 vehicles with similar engine sizes, and we found that they all passed. Conversations with knowledgeable members of the industry confirmed that the New Zealand public is starting to hold on to their vehicles much longer, which coincides with MOT's own 2010 annual fleet report. Supposedly we're doing this to clean up New Zealand's air. This new emission rule, how is it going to achieve that? Tune into the Car Info Show, and remember, be nice to your car. If this rule goes through, you may have it a lot longer than you think.